Wait, I thought is Roger Ebert dead?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then
Done
how
like
did he review
2004.
Midnight Mass?
He has a website, and other people contribute to his website. He's now like a brand.
That's so dumb.
I don't think it's supposed to be that fucking loose.
Run by his wife. Widow.
What the fuck?
My
But I
opinion.
think he
My
also
opinion
cited the
stands.
idea of the thumbs, correct? Like you can't. Does he not allow them to do the thumb up, thumbs down anymore?
I
feel like
think
that was a
so.
thing.
At least on when they were trying to do the show, maybe
Yeah.
with other
Wasn't
critics.
that like copyrighted by like someone or
Yeah.
something?
Like when they were doing when they tried to continue at the movies.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Mhm. Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear
Hello?
us?
You don't even have any headphones in.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
we hear you.
Everyone can hear you.
Trying to. My fucking. These things were working earlier, and now they're not, and I don't know why. Hey, can someone tell me if they can hear me?
Antifa.
Like,
We can hear you.
Yes.
fuck.
This is gonna be
I'm
a
so
fun
glad
one
I'm
tonight,
recording
folks.
all of this.
Why are you not working?
Nick, good to hear you have electricity back in the house. Sorry to hear
Literally,
that-
I had
that
it set up
debacle.
before. It was working fine. I walk away, and all of a sudden, everything stops.
Blame it on Skype.
Blame it on the
Probably
rain.
not far from the
I was
truth.
gonna say blame it on the rain.
There you go.
Ah. It's that time again. Time for the all-new Culture Cast, which begins right now. Welcome back, everyone, to the all-new Culture Cast. And tonight we have our 200th episode. That's something fun, I guess. And joining us tonight, we have
Crazy dog. Sorry.
well, that was Jen, who's having apparently a stroke or something live here on the.
Sorry, my dog is barking.
podcast.
Sorry. You can go back into it. Sorry.
No, this is staying. Are you kidding me? This is all staying in. We have Jen, who's back after a long absence. I know you've been busy, Jen, but we're happy to see and hear you. We have Cuz,
Hello.
and we got Mike
Hello.
and Corinne.
Hi.
And we got the old and the new. We got like Jen and Cuz, who are part of the OG crew, and then part of our new wave is Mike and Corinne. So it's kind of fun that we have a mix of folks here on our 200th. Gorehound was here earlier, but then his little ghoulie, I guess, got sick and he had to run and bail. But luckily, I have some of his stuff recorded from earlier, so I'll throw that in somewhere, I guess, just for.
Just drop in random clips.
With the power of technology, Nick, we can just use we can use like a AI to artificially to create like a soundboard for Gorehound.
Yes, a soundboard Gorehound.
Yeah.
Soundboard. So that's that, but hopefully his ghoulie's okay, and I don't know if he's gonna pop back. Probably not, but you never know. But anyway, for tonight, it's our 200th, and originally I wanted to do something special. I had an idea of doing like I like the kids story Go Dog Go. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but doing a quote unquote dramatic reading of that, or a stage version, however you want to call it. But then, as my wife keenly pointed out, I'd have to take time to sit down, edit it, put sound effects, all that, and I frankly don't have the time to do that at this moment. So, Corinne, you came up with an idea of talking about some of the more scathing reviews or the snark of Roger Ebert, because he's obviously a big time famous movie reviewer who wishes was as good as us, obviously, but he's also known for his reviews for how long was his career, 30-40 years, something like that, probably longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went pretty long as far as I could tell. I mean, I was seeing things up until the 70s at least when I was looking into his movies. I'm sure they even went before then, but yeah, amazing.
But he's also known for being kind of a smart aleck with movies like absolutely despises. And we thought it'd be fun to take a look at some of those, and kind of like read some of the stuff and maybe discuss some of the snark as we go along here. Just I don't know, we'll just kind of see how things travel through. So yeah, so that's what we're kind of going to chatting about tonight.
So what you're saying, it's all about the journey, not the destination.
It's always about the journey. It's always about the journey. So I guess who wants to, I don't know if anyone did their homework beforehand on looking at some things. So who wants to start us out? Who wants to take the first crack at this?
I think our dog wants to start.
Well, since it was my idea, I guess I'll go first as like kind of an icebreaker. I'll be the guinea pig to how this goes and how we all feel about it, if that's okay. So I do feel that I am somebody who always feels like I hate everything that everyone likes, and I've always felt this way my whole life, and it makes you very unpopular, and it makes everyone not like you. And one thing that I remember as a kid, everyone my age liked, and a lot of people liked, and they weren't wrong. It was a very charming movie, but I never cared for it just because I was very bitter and obnoxious, was The Dead Poets Society. I always hated that movie. It was just meh, and saccharine and silly and blah, and like, you know,
You didn't shed a tear. You didn't shed a tear to Captain, my Captain. No,
just nonsense. Just absolute crap. Like, and as you get older, you realize this man is a terrible teacher who teaches nothing. I mean, ultimately, like, it's just very feel-goodery nonsense. And one of the students gets expelled because of him. One of the students, like, ultimately kills himself. And this is all kind of because of this teacher, you know, but I mean, we don't blame him for it, but I mean, come on. But anyway, like, I just didn't like it. And it was just one of the many movies of that age of like, look at these good looking young white men, aren't they? Let's pick them apart and obsess over them. And blah. I didn't care for it, but anyway, good old Roger Ebert, despite winning an award, an Academy Award for this movie, he knew right away that it was shit, bless his heart, and hated it, which I appreciate. Thank you, Roger Ebert. And he points out what a terrible teacher he is, which I really appreciate. So I'm going to try not to read the entire thing, even though I really hadn't planned on cutting it down. So I'm going to try and keep out anything that seems utterly pointless. The Dead Poets Society is a collection of pious platitudes masquerading as a courageous stand in favor of something, doing your own thing, I think. It's about an inspirational, unconventional English teacher and his students at the best prep school in America, conventional views by such techniques as standing on their desks. It is, of course, inevitable that the brilliant teacher will eventually be fired from the school. And when his students stood on their desks to protest his dismissal, I was so moved I wanted to throw up. The film makes much noise about poetry, and there are brief quotations from Tennyson, Herrick, Whitman, and even, I'm probably going to butcher this, I don't know this, Vachel Lindsay, as well as a brave excursion into prose that takes us as far as Thoreau's Walden. At the end of a great teacher's course in poetry, the students would love poetry. At the end of this teacher's semester, all they love is the teacher. Basically, what he points out is that, let me see what else I can find that was great. Oh, perhaps, yeah. Oh, I will say that there are maybe, I think there's one female character in the entire movie. It's a love interest of another guy, and I think she might have 3 lines for the entire movie. Like, she does absolutely nothing. She actually shows no interest in the male character, but he still, like, pursues her obsessively to the point that's really pretty obnoxious, because at no point is she kind of like, I'm enjoying this, please keep it up. But, you know, he still does it. One of those movies where you're like, keep trying and you'll earn that woman. You know, one of those annoying tropes of like the 90s, like, keep it up and you'll wear her down. A lot of that in the movie. Super obnoxious. That is the only, I mean, granted, it's an all-boys school, so not a lot of room for the women in it. And I think there's a woman in the show of Midsummer Night Dream, and only because they had to throw one in. But other than that, it is, you know, strictly guy movie. I don't think there's any African Americans, even any minorities at the school, as far as I can recall. I believe it's all whites. I mean, maybe they're trying to act faithful to what it would have been at the 50s in Massachusetts school or whatever. But also just who cares, the same old shit you were seeing everywhere at the time. I thought it was.
Are you saying that Hollywood is so white?
Hollywood's so white hashtag. But honestly, it was nice to finally see that. It's about time someone gave Mike a chance. You know what I mean? No. I'm Captain by Captain.
You and Ebert are not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you and Ebert are not wrong in that opinion. I remember there were years where people were like, Dead Poets Society is a great movie, and finally someone, either I borrowed it from someone or I rented it, I can't remember what, I watched it, and I was like, this is it? This is what people are raving about? I don't get it. I mean, I may not hate it as much as you clearly do, or Ebert did, but it's definitely not worth the renown.
Well, you have to ask yourself at the end, what did the kids learn in the class?
To stand on their desks.
Well, it's supposed to be this sort of mental awakening. That's not his job, obviously. I mean, this sort of being their therapist or whatever the hell he's trying to be to them. That's just weird. I feel like none of them would actually. And also, I feel like if he's supposed to be teaching them how to write poetry, he's acting like there's no strategy or form or any sort of thing or anything they should be studying, that it's all just spout whatever's in your mind and bam, it's poetry, well done, or something. Like there isn't things to be studied, or that you shouldn't learn from other great poets, and that you shouldn't learn how to critique or edit or any of these things that go along with it. No, it's just thinking and feeling, and I mean, it was just, it's very as somebody who grew up and studied the arts, it is sort of frustrating to think that somebody would think that it really is all just emotional nonsense, and that there isn't history to be learned, and birth dates and death dates, and just a lot of boring facts that go along with it. It's no, we have to learn all of it. That's, as much as I would love to be all I did for school was sing what I wanted to all day, morning till night, and then I got a diploma. It's well, no, that's not really how it works. That's just and I do feel like he sort of points that out. I'll finish with the last thing. It is not the worst of the countless recent movies about good kids and hidebound authoritarian older people. It may, however, be the most shameless in its attempt to pander to an adolescent audience. The movie pays lip service to qualities and values that, on the evidence of the screenplay itself, it is cheerfully willing to abandon. If you are going to evoke Henry David Thoreau as the patron saint of your movie, then you had better make a movie he would have admired. Here is one of my favorite sentences from Walden, which I recommend for serious study by the authors of this film. Instead of studying how to make it worth men's while to buy my baskets, I studied rather how to avoid the necessity of selling them. Think about that. That's the end of the quote. And I just read this earlier today, and I was yeah, I still don't get that, but I'll look into it. But it sounds cool.
I definitely watched this movie at least one time in English class, and I feel like teachers love movies about teachers and about how you can really affect students by being a good teacher. But rather than teaching us to stand on our desks, they just were you can watch these other people learn how to stand on their desks. So just some interesting layers there. Definitely there's something to be said too, I think, for, anytime an author writes a book about an author, or, a movie is written about an artist who appreciates art, you have to think, are we just trying to influence how this movie's gonna go?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. As a former high school English teacher, I did show this movie, but I used it because we read a separate piece. And if you've ever seen the movie version of a separate piece, it's nothing like the book. And at least this has some broad similarities that we're able to generate discussion in class. But just showing it for the sake of showing it, no. But I do have to confess I was guilty of doing that.
No, I watched it in school too. A lot of my teachers showed it.
I did too, yeah.
And I mean, it was I mean, granted, I never took a poetry class. The only thing I probably know about poetry is half of it is probably from that movie, sadly, because I never know anything about poetry. So
And
there's something.
And I'm sure I liked it at the time because at the time I wasn't watching good movies, so I'm like, oh, this is what a good movie's supposed to be. And then you get older and realize, oh wait, no, this is kind of bland. Okay.
Yeah, but also like I remember to this day I still don't understand how the Dead Poets Society was rebellious. Like, what did they do that was
They
bad?
stood on their desks.
No, you remember the group that they formed that was like, let's draw on our faces and then like meet underground and read poetry? It was so bad. I'm like, why was that bad? Why were they not supposed to be out? Was there a curfew? Other than that, I really didn't get what was bad about it.
Oh, if only we had a movie that explored that.
I think the point of it was that they had to stick to the script in so much that this is how we do things, X, Y, and Z, and you become a banker. Don't veer from that path because you're from a rich and powerful family, and you can't veer from what daddy or mommy wants from you. And if you do that, then that's bad. And Robin Williams is like, no, veer all you want, kids. That's what life is about. And I think the Poet Society was a way for them to do that, and the administration didn't want that. And I think they're upset because didn't like someone write in the yearbook about how women should be added to the school, and they signed in the name of their society. I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah, they want girls included in the school or something. He says he gets a call from God or something during church. Yeah. The one bad kid, granted, not bad at all, but we're gonna act like they're bad. But yeah, and that's another like, I don't know. I don't. And I mean, now that we're adults, I feel like, but you can't. I mean, I feel like we know that whatever he was trying to teach was kind of bullshit. Like, you can't go off and do whatever you want. You can't just be impulsive all the time. I mean, you have to go to work. You have to pay bills. You have to take care of your kids. Like, I mean, I don't know that. I guess he was trying to give them some freedom as opposed to a life of 100% rigidity. I guess that's what we were supposed to be learning here. But it was just so sloppily done. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know. It just, I don't like it. I just never liked it. That's it.
I'll be honest, because I'm a troglodyte and I don't watch movies that are serious or try to tell human drama. So I've never actually seen the Dead Poet Society besides Oh Captain, My Captain. So
I am very surprised you didn't have to watch this in school. I feel like that's probably where most people, excuse me.
Your teachers never have a hangover, or?
I was going to say, I assumed a substitute was in for the day, and they were like, here, watch Dead Poets Society.
Like I said, you guys weren't products of the Chicago public school system. We had two rocks. We banged them together. That was our graduation ceremony.
Teachers were gone. Well, yeah. You're actually quite a bit younger, too. There are probably a whole new slew of terrible movies to pad by the time you were in school. These were just the hits from our day.
Yep.
I will say the one thing I do remember from my youth in terms of the Chicago public school system and movies, I had this one English teacher. I'm pretty sure this guy was a nut, like he was certifiably insane. But the one thing that's always stuck with me is he said the two greatest works of fiction the two greatest pieces of fiction in the English language are Macbeth and Total Recall. No, and I'm not even joking.
That's quite the range right there.
This would have been if you and I had a child. This would have been our child.
True. Yeah.
Macbeth, opera.
He had like crazy eyes too. Like he just like.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh my gosh, we did have a kid apparently.
I guess so. Yeah.
Oh my God, brilliant.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You would say the two greatest movies are Citizen Kane and Con Air.
Well, thank you for indulging me. So that was my opinion. I was happy he agreed with me on that because I do not like that movie. I don't like it on a desk. I do not like it underground. I do not like it with green eggs and ham. I do not like Dead Poets Society.
So B+.
B-.
Alrighty. So let's see. Thank you for what's this going on here? Okay, there we go. Thank you for starting us off here, Corinne. So who wants to jump in next? Cuz you got one ready to go for us?
Yeah, I got one. I got a couple. I got two that are kind of back to back, mainly because, as I mentioned before, I'm a troglodyte when it comes to culture and high society. I'm also straight ripping off from another YouTube channel, Red Letter Media. But when it came to tonight's assignment, it just so happened they referenced something that would be perfect for tonight's conversation. And that involves, it's actually two reviews, but they're tied together. It's Ebert's review of the Tom Green cinema masterpiece, Freddy Got Fingered.
That's what I wanted to talk about too.
Horrifying title.
In the man's own words, for the dramatic live reading, this movie doesn't scrape the bottom of the barrel. This movie isn't the bottom of the barrel. This movie isn't below the bottom of the barrel. This movie doesn't deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence with barrels. ... This film is a vomitorium, consisting of 93 minutes of Tom Green doing things that a geek at a carnival sideshow would turn down. And then the follow-up, the review, or kind of like the sort of the cherry on top, was a review he did a year later for a movie called Stealing Harvard that also had Tom Green in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
From a review posted back from his review back in September 13th, 2002. Quote, seeing Tom Green reminded me, as how could it not, of his movie Freddy Got Fingered, which was so poorly received by the film critics that it received only one lonely, apologetic, positive review on the tomato meter. I gave it, 0 stars. Bad movie. Especially the scene where Green was whirling the newborn infant around his head by its umbilical cord. But the thing is, I remember Freddy Got Fingered more than a year later. I refer to it sometimes. It is a milestone. And for all its sins, it was at least an ambitious movie. A go-for-broke attempt to accomplish something. It failed, but has not left me convinced that Tom Green doesn't have good work in him. Anyone with his nerve and total lack of taste is sooner or later going to make a movie worth seeing. I disagree with the last sentence, but like I said, that's kind of when we were given this homework assignment, that was one of the first ones that popped into my head.
That's a good one. I also loved how he started that review too. He said, it's been leading up to this all spring when David Spade got buried in crap and Joe Dirt, and when 3 supermodels got buried in crap and head over heels, and when human organs fell from a hot air balloon in Monkey Bone and were eaten by dogs, and when David Arquette rolled around in dog crap and a gangster had his testicles bitten off in C-Spot Run, and when a testicle was eaten in Tomcats, well, somehow the handwriting was on the wall. There had to be a movie like Freddy Got Fingered coming along.
Amazing.
On a side note, I think we've moved past the gross out era of comedy, which for better or for worse, I personally say for worse, but that's just this reporter's opinion.
Well, we still got the new Jackass movie.
Yeah, that makes me happy. So there's still things for me to look forward to.
Yeah, I always love Ebert's reviews on comedies, even though in general I tend not to trust reviewers with comedies, because some comedies are supposed to be stupid. Like, yeah, he's on point about Freddy Got Fingered, but let's be honest, it's the movie it's set out to be. It wasn't trying to be this. It wasn't trying to be a thought-provoking original comedy. It is what it is.
Yeah. He also gave UHF 1 star, as I think we talked about last week a little bit.
Well, oh no. Well, now he's dead.
So-
It wasn't perfect.
I
Hey,
do
he's dead to
remember
everyone.
as a I was gonna say as a person who always loved Roger Ebert and someone who is from Chicago like him, I do remember hearing that apparently people would say that he would be most like reviews coming out of Chicago would be better than elsewhere in the country because when he would go to these critic screenings, he had this like great laugh. So if he loved a comedy, it would like elevate the room, and so the reviews coming out of Chicago would be better than the reviews
Oh,
coming
so it's
out
kind
of
of like
other.
infectious, his laugh.
Exactly. Just a fun little side story.
I like that.
Another favorite story of mine of his is he gave the movie Sour Grapes, which was a movie by Larry David, who was the creator of Seinfeld and of course Curb Your Enthusiasm. He gave it 0 stars. And in return, Larry David made an episode about a critic who gives reviews with 2 thumbs up, and I think he has an accident and he breaks his thumbs. And Ebert mentions that he had a good laugh about it. He still defended his review of the movie. He said the movie was terrible, but Curb Your Enthusiasm is not. But I still winced when I saw the critic with his broken thumbs.
There was some director that he had this constant back and forth with. He really hated his stuff, and like the director kept insulting him and called him fat. And Ebert
Was
said,
it Yue Boll?
Excuse me?
That might be,
What was the director Yue Boll?
Maybe it said like
Yue Boll. Yeah, it's like
if you wanted to wrestle him or something.
Yeah.
That has to be.
Yeah.
Ebert's like, I might be fat, but at least I can lose weight. You'll always be a terrible director. What a fantastic comeback. Listen to that, John Keating. That is a poet. The things that Roger Ebert says, that is poetry. He was so goddamn clever.
His negative reviews were always more entertaining than his positive ones, I gotta say.
Oh, the cattiness.
Especially when he really despised and hated a movie.
I know he always gave Rob Schneider films awful reviews. When Ebert was going through all of his like medical conditions, Rob Schneider delivered like a giant bouquet of like flowers to him and said to Ebert, your least favorite movie star, hope you feel better, or something like that. And Ebert like acknowledged him, like, I may not like your movies, but you're a stand-up guy, thank you, or something like that. So
that's nice.
The only story I've ever heard about Rob Schneider that made me think he wasn't.
No kidding. Yeah.
I know. Like, wasn't he not in his daughter's life at all? Basically.
Yeah, and now she's what, Ellie King? Ellie King.
She's like that famous singer.
X's and O's, yeah.
Where is that review from? I was trying to find the one. I had one for Deuce Big. I remember Deuce Bigelow, European Bigelow was on there.
Yeah, that was in one of the books, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of Adam Sandler ones made them, I saw.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore was in one.
Yeah. Right here, or the standout line from that review. Speaking in my official capacity as a Pulitzer Prize winner, Mr. Schneider, your movie sucks.
Yeah, that was a great one. That's because I guess Rob Schneider wrote a response to a reviewer who apparently did not win the Pulitzer and was criticizing him and saying, well, you don't have any awards, so why should you criticize me? And Ebert's like, well, I can criticize you, and I say your movie sucks.
I definitely remember he gave Zoolander a bad review, although not bad enough to be in his books of bad reviews. And I remember that Ben Stiller complained to him that this movie took 4 years of my life, and he was like, well, your movie took 90 minutes of mine. I just looked this up to verify, and apparently Ben Stiller in 2013, so I believe Ebert died around 2004. He was in the Hollywood Reporter saying that Roger Ebert apologized for his Zoolander review, but I choose to believe that Ben Stiller is lying.
I think Ebert died in 2013, but
yeah,
2013.
Did he say that after he died, or?
Yeah. Oh, 2013. Why do I think it was 2004? Jeez. Okay.
Well,
no.
Yeah, well,
because the last 18 months felt like 50 years.
Fair point.
Agreed.
Fair point. So it looks like it was right after he died. Roger Ebert died at the beginning of April 2013, and this was April 22nd.
Yeah, I was gonna say in 2006. That's when he had the jaw surgery.
I went to a IndieWire website that has like the best burns of Roger Ebert, and I'm just going through them, and some of them are great, like the Brown Bunny, which the only reason I've heard of the Brown Bunny is I believe I've heard of it because it's famous for Chloe Sevigny actually giving a literal blowjob in the movie. I believe that's why it's famous, which like, yay, good for you. But it says, his review of that was, I had a colonoscopy once, and they let me watch it on TV. It was more entertaining than the Brown Bunny.
At the beginning of his book, Your Movie Sucks, he did say something about that. He said, let's see. He said his introduction to the book says that, you know, he talks about writing these reviews with joyous zeal and glee and sorrow and anger. On the other hand, I learned a thing or two. Vincent Gallo's The Brown Bunny struck me when I saw it at Cannes as definitively bad. Engaged in an exchange of views with the director. When I saw his considerably shorter final cut, I had to concede that I could now see what he was getting at. A critic must be honest.
What on earth was that?
That's the elephant that lives at my house and blows his nose a lot.
Was that the one that you wanted to talk about, Jen, or did you have another review that you had in mind you wanted to?
No, I just mentioned it because she mentioned the Brown Bunny, so I wanted to say he did write about it. My review that I wanted to pull up is, I just want to say, not even a movie I've ever seen, because it seemed bad, but I really enjoyed some of the surprises of this review. So the movie that mentioned is Monster in Law, which starred Jennifer Lopez and Jane Fonda, from 2005. So I'm not sure why I thought Ebert died in 2004. Anyway, so so a few of the kind of highlights of this review, talking about how he likes Jennifer Lopez and has always liked Jane Fonda. It says, the movie opens by establishing Charlie Cantanelli Lopez as an awfully nice person. She walks dogs, she works as a temp, she likes to cook, she's friendly and loyal. She roughs it on Venice Beach in an apartment that can't cost more than $2,950 a month. She has a gay neighbor who's her best bud. I enjoyed these scenes right up until the meet cute with Dr. Kevin Fields, a surgeon who falls in love with her. She can't believe a guy like that would really like a girl like her, which is unlikely since anyone that looks like Jennifer Lopez and walks dogs on the boardwalk has already been hit on by every .com entrepreneur and boy band dropout in Santa Monica, plus Donald Trump and Charlie Sheen. Delightful. So great. So correct. He died, of course, before he would have known what was coming with Donald Trump. Just a fun. And the other really great pull quote from this is, I think, one of my favorite concepts that they would talk about in movies. And so he mentions talking about a supporting character played by Wanda Sykes, and how the movie fails what he calls the Gene Siskel test. Is this film more interesting than a documentary of the same actors having lunch? Which is something that, like, I remember reading about as a kid, and thinking, what a great way to think about movies. And to this day, I still think about that sometimes when I see a movie. Like, would I rather just see these actors chatting? Because, a lot of times there's some very interesting people in movies, and a lot of times movie scripts are written by idiots. So, really interesting stuff. So that was my favorite pull quote from that one. And yeah, so that was one of my favorite ones. But I'll say I was definitely a kid who always loved Roger Ebert, because especially because he was a local critic and he just always had really interesting things to say about movies. And I actually got to meet him when he came to Naperville, Illinois at Anderson's Bookshop. He came and did a signing. This was after he'd had the throat surgery, so
Oh, wow.
he couldn't speak, but his wife was speaking for him. And I got to get my picture taken with him. It was very cool.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was in our neck of the woods. It must have been
Oh,
before we were here.
Yeah, I want to say maybe 2003, something like that. I was in college.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, kind of springboard off that, like, so it, like, one of my sort of rituals in high school was I had this this one kid that at the lunch table that I sat at. He always had a copy of the Chicago Sun-Times, and every Friday I would ask him, like, hey, can I have the movie section? Because usually a lot of Ebert's opinions were ones that I kind of agreed with usually, but there were definitely a few of them where I'm like,
wait. I have to ask a question.
yeah.
Why did this kid randomly have a copy of the Chicago Sun-Times?
He just always would buy like, I don't know, like at lunch he would just buy like the daily paper. You would buy the Chicago Sun-Times.
Buy the Chicago Sun-Times from where?
I don't
Where
know.
are they selling this at lunch in high school?
Probably, if I had to guess, he's probably, like I said, because again, this is about, God, almost maybe 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. But he was he probably got it from, like, there was the Jewel right next door to Lane Tech. I'm assuming he got it from there, like either in the early morning or during or before lunch. But anywho, but that's kind of where that's kind of how I got to know who Roger Ebert was. Where I was old enough to recognize kind of like, and be more interested in stuff like that. I'm sure he was probably on the TV in the background, when I was growing up, but, little kid not recognizing nothing. But I think not the first time, but one of the times where I was like really, I don't want to say saddened, but maybe kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And where I fully disagreed with him, was his review of the movie Kick-Ass. Because I think he gave it, I remember I was like really looking forward to it. And then I saw the star rating. It was only like 1 star. I was like, oh no. Here's a whole quote from that review. I know, this is satire, but a satire of what? The movie's rated R, which means in this case it's doubly attractive to anyone under 17. I'm not too worried about 16-year-olds here. I'm thinking of 6-year-olds. There are characters here with walls covered in carefully mounted firearms, ranged from handguns through automatic weapons to bazookas. At the end, when the villain deliciously anticipates blowing a bullet hole into the child's head, he is prevented because her friend, in the nick of time, shoots him with a bazooka shell at 10-foot range and blows him through a skyscraper window and across several city blocks of sky in a projectile of blood, flame, and smoke. As I often read on the internet, ha, 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 ha. Which I fully disagree. That movie's amazing. But it was also kind of one of those, I don't want to say disillusion, but more like where I think I went from more, oh yeah, whatever this guy says is gold, to like, well, I think he might be full of it sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of stuff like he would hate that I loved, but I just always loved hearing his opinions on any movie, whether I liked it or hated it.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, some of the movies that he like gave surprisingly good reviews for. Let's see. I'm going through some of the notes I pulled up. Let's see. I think the Ben Affleck Daredevil was a thumbs up from him.
Ooh, that's a terrible movie.
The Will Ferrell movie Land of the Lost also got a 3-star review.
Mm.
And just again, this is just scratching this is just the tip of this iceberg. Cars 2 got 3.5 stars. So
Well, they also him and Siskel also really liked Beavis and Butthead. I kind of like that. They gave that 2 thumbs up.
we're trying to. I think the main thing to get out of this tonight's conversation is the man had layers like an onion.
Exactly.
I think anytime you have a critic, you're going to have certain blind spots, definitely. And so for a lot of critics, that's something like a movie like Kick-Ass, which is very, kind of comic booky and everything. But I think there is something also to be said for the fact that, like, for a long time, the 2 most powerful critics were, like, old white guys from Chicago. Certainly these days it may not feel like a newspaper critic could have a lot of power, and that can really be problematic when you're looking to have a more diverse representation in Hollywood. If all the reviews that are coming through very specific lenses. And to this day, there's definitely a problem with reviewers tending to, be straight white guys, on the younger side, who aren't, and we're not hearing from a diversity of voices or opinions, certainly.
What's interesting about that, Jen, is that you're on the money when it comes to like print reviews, but now reviews have changed so much that like anyone with a YouTube channel can start spouting off their nonsense. And
well,
like,
sure, but if we're talking about people who have any sort of influence in the conversation, anyone can make a review. Not every review is going to be widely disseminated.
Right. I guess my point I'm saying is, like, there's been this growing trend of these online communities that online channels that grow in various popularity, that I wonder if the general influence of paper critics are what they once were. Like, people are like, critics are idiots. I'm going to watch this YouTube guy who I really like. Like,
I mean,
that's Red Letter
Media,
Media, or
with anything, people are going to pay, but even then, if you were to probably look at who is doing very well on YouTube, and look, I'm not going to pretend I have the answers on this, but my guess would be if you look at who is the most popular critics on YouTube, they tend to follow specific trends, and I would not be surprised if the most well-regarded critics on YouTube are also demographically pretty similar.
You're probably right on that. I can't speak for that myself. I guess I'm just more responding to the in terms of the influence that Ebert had and Siskel had back in the day. If they were around today, would their influence be the same? And I don't know if it would necessarily, but that's neither here nor there. The demographic breakdown is that's a whole nother conversation.
Let's get back in the Wayback Machine and let's bring him to the 21st century.
If you get time travel, I think rather than bringing back Ebert, we got some other stuff to take care of first.
No. This is way this is way more important. We have to.
Alrighty. Did you have any other ones at the moment, Jen? I didn't mean to cut you off there when you were going.
Oh no. Okay, let's see. I have one other I wanted to read, which is a movie that I very much liked when I was a kid. It was definitely not like a slumber party movie, but it was kind of in that vein of like fun rom-coms that he absolutely hated. And so this is The Wedding Singer, starring Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, from 1998.
Aww.
I do. So one of those that I liked when I was, a child, and now that I'm older, I look back and I'm like, well. So, for instance, he's got some real gems in here. The plot is so familiar that the end credits should have issued a blanket statement. They should have issued a The plot is so familiar, the end credits should have issued a blanket thank you to a century of Hollywood love coms. Through a torturous series of contrived misunderstandings, the boy and girl avoid happiness for most of the movie, although not as successfully as we do. It's your basic off-the-shelf formula in which two people fall in love, but are kept apart because A, they're engaged to creeps, B, they say the wrong things at the wrong times, and C, they get bad information. It's exhausting seeing the characters work so hard to avoid the obvious. Of course, there's the obligatory scene where the good girl goes to the good boy's house to say she loves him, but the bad girl answers the door and lies to her. I spent the weekend looking at old Astaire and Rogers movies, which basically had the same plot. She thinks he's a married man and almost gets married to the slimy band leader before he finally figures everything out and declares his love in the 11th hour. The biggest difference between Astaire and Rogers in Swing Time and Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore in The Wedding Singer is that, one, in 1936 they were more sophisticated than we are now, and knew the plot was inane and had fun with that fact, and two, they could dance. He also says, takes a moment to be mean to Adam Sandler, which I enjoy. The basic miscalculation in Adam Sandler's career plan is to ever play the lead. He is not a lead. He is the best friend, or the creep, or the loser boyfriend. He doesn't have the voice to play a lead. Even at his most sincere, it sounds like he's doing stand-up. Like he's mocking a character in a movie he saw last night. Barrymore, on the other hand, has the stuff to play a lead. I commend you to once again watch the underrated Mad Love. But what is she doing in this one? In a plot her grandfather would have found old-fashioned. So, anyway, I find this delightful because, again, even though I did like The Wedding Singer, I do just kind of want to punch Adam Sandler in the face, not really based on anything. He just seems punchable, and
I like
and
that
also,
movie, but I
while
definitely
I do
agree with those points.
what?
I like that movie, but I definitely agree with those points. He makes right.
Yeah.
I can't argue with them. It's like, oh, he's right.
No. I mean, I liked the movie. To be fair, I also haven't watched the movie in 20 years, but I definitely liked the movie at one point. But it's one of those things where when you read it, you're like, yeah, that's reasonable. And I love a good formulaic rom-com. I think formulas are formulas for a reason, and I don't believe every movie needs to be 100% like original to be interesting. But oh, what a devastating thing to say about a person.
I want to say two things. One, Billy Idol gets it, and two, since that time, Sandler starred in over 30 major motion pictures. Combined, have grossed over $2.4 billion at the worldwide box office.
He has also, to be clear, admitted that most of the movies he makes these days are just a tax write-off so he can vacation with his pals.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Though I will say, I'm sorry that Ebert didn't survive to see him do Uncut Gems, because that was pretty tits.
Yeah, everyone liked it. I didn't see it because it seemed like a lot to process, but
it's
supposed to be great.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's surprising at how good he is. You're kind of like, wow, why is he not trying?
Because he's sitting at $2.4 billion. That's
He
why.
even said the same thing about Punch Drunk Love. He loved Punch Drunk Love, and he said, oh my God, Adam Sandler can actually act if he's given like the right script.
Which is infuriating, because then it's like, so why do you not act when you have the option?
Because it's easier.
Yeah, well,
I have a friend whose husband worked on some Adam Sandler cartoon. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, so she
Was it
Nights?
8 Crazy Nights?
8 Crazy Nights. It might have been 8 Crazy Nights. He's like a cartoon editor. So anyway, he's met Adam Sandler, and apparently he's like very shy and kind, and like, invites the whole crew to his house to have a party after the movie's over. So I'm sure Adam Sandler is a nice guy, but I do wish he tried more in movies.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to hire his friends for everything, you know? Like David Spade could sit one out.
Hey, Kevin James got to work.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Rob Schneider
He
needs
really
to eat.
doesn't. He could be a cartoon dog or something. He doesn't have to be, you know, acting in some movie where he's a concert pianist or some nonsense thing like that. Like, come on.
So, which movie is it? Wait, what movie are you talking about with the concert pianist?
I'm kidding. He never plays a concert pianist. That would be. This is a ripoff of this show. Did you ever watch the show, The Critic? I was obsessed with that cartoon.
I vaguely remember, but I think it might be one of those things. Might have been too young to actually.
Yeah, it was from the mid '90s.
I definitely watched it and probably understood half of it.
I think the biggest thing was they did that crossover episode with The Simpsons. The Springfield Film Festival.
Episode. Thank God that's a good episode, because that could have been terrible, but it was actually very good. I do.
And if you ever want to come to my show, no, we won't be doing that.
I really enjoyed The Critic. It was very funny. It was John Lovitz back when he was good. I don't know. It was cute. A lot of the same voice actors from The Simpsons, and it was only on for 2 seasons. And it's a lot of good, just like ripping on movies jokes. And he's in a bad mood and he wants to like take it out on something. And of course, he's a popular film critic. And he does actually have one episode where there's a cameo with Siskel and Ebert. But anyway, that's unrelated. And his son is like, and he's like, I'm in such a bad mood. I just want to like take something out on something. And his son's like, well, we got these free tickets to this new Sylvester Stallone movie. He plays a concert pianist. And he's like, let's go. And it just sounds like it would be some hilarious, like terrible, terrible movie. You know, somebody who's not a good actor playing something so serious. So that's why I was thinking Kevin James playing concert piano player.
Alrighty. Well, if no one has anything else at the moment, I got a couple of fun ones to chat about. So I wasn't sure what to search for, so I kind of looked for movies that either I kind of enjoyed. I actually pulled one for Gorehound, who unfortunately couldn't be here, so I'm still going to do it because it's a good one. So I'll start with that one right now, and I'm only going to read a part of this one. So I'll pull the poll quote. This is Friday the 13th, Part 2. It starts with, I saw Friday the 13th, Part 2 at the Virginia Theater, a former vaudeville house in my hometown of Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. The late show was half filled with high school and college students, and as the lights went down, I experienced a brief wave of nostalgia. It's in this very theater, on countless Friday nights, I'd gone with a date to the movies. My nostalgia lasted for the first 2 minutes of the movie. The pre-title sequence showed one of the heroines from the original Friday the 13th alone at home. She has nightmares, wakes up, undresses, is stalked by the camera, hears a noise in the kitchen. She tiptoes around the kitchen. Through the open window, a cat springs into the room. The audience screamed loudly and happily. It's fun to be scared. Then an unidentified man stuck an ice pick into the girl's brain, and for me, the fun stopped. The audience, however, carried on. It is tradition to be loud during these movies, I guess. After a batch of young counselors turns up for training at summer camp, a girl goes out walking alone at night. Everyone in the audience imitated the hoot howls and the hyenas. However, another girl went into the room and started to undress. 5 guys singing together started to chant, "We want boobs." And then he starts talking about the plot and everything and jumps down. The legend grows that son Jason did not really drown, but survived and lurks in the woods waiting to take his vengeance against the killer of his mother and against the camp counselors in general, I guess. And then the best thing about this is the last line in this, which I don't know if that was added after the fact, but it's actually hilarious. He goes on and rips the movie ahead, but he says, "This review will suffice for the Friday the 13th movie of your choice," indicating that he's just all his criticisms could apply to all the movies across the board, which I thought was actually pretty funny and probably pretty accurate. I've not seen all the Friday the 13th films, but sure he's not far from the truth on that.
Yeah, not really. He's not far away.
Thoughts on Jason Takes Manhattan?
I have a pull quote from the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now let me ask you. He gave this movie a 1-star review.
Oh wow!
I don't. I've not seen it. I'll be honest. I've not seen this one. I've heard people love it. But
it's dated, but it's good.
It's vulgar. It's hilarious though.
Like again, troglodyte.
Definitely one of those like 80s comedies.
Very 80s. Very, very 80s.
Yeah.
This pull quote I found very interesting. If this movie had been directed by a man, I'd call it sexist. It was directed by a woman, Amy Heckerling, and it's sexist all the same. It clunks to a halt now. It clunks to a halt now, and then for some heartfelt, badly handled material about pregnancy and abortion. I suppose that's Heckerling's pain due to some misconception of the women's movement. But for the most part, this movie just exploits his performance by trying to walk a tightrope between comedy and sexploitation. I found that particularly amusing. But the piece I wanted to talk about here is from a movie that I know it's bad, but I enjoy it because I'm a fan of the series to begin with. Highlander 2, The Quickening. This movie has to be seen to be believed. On the other hand, maybe that's asking too high a price. Highlander 2, The Quickening is the most hilariously incomprehensible movie I've seen in many a long day. A movie almost awesome in its badness. Whatever science fiction fans gather, in decades and generations to come, this film will be remembered in hushed tones as one of the immortal low points of the genre. The story opens in 1999. Then we get a title card 25 years later, followed by, not long after, the title card, The Planet Zeist, 500 years ago. Are those Earth years or Zeist years? Apparently Zeist, which also has a sun so close it takes up a quarter that so slowly that a Zeist year is exactly the same as an Earth year, which accounts for the fact that one of the immortals was sent to Earth 500 years ago, found himself in medieval Scotland also 500 years ago. Now about the immortals. They lead a rebellion on Zeist and were banished to Earth under the sentence of eternal life. They cannot die, in a sense. Actually, they can, but it depends. Or, for one of the characters explains it more helpfully, you'll live forever here until you return to Zeist, where you can die, or under certain circumstances, you could die here, but not on Zeist. The immortals, played by Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert, they have been both on Earth. They have both been on Earth for 500 Earth years, and will be here a lot longer. It looks like. Meanwhile, in the year 1999, the disappearing ozone layer is causing a global panic on Earth. The ozone has finally been destroyed by billions of deodorized armpits, and people are dying like flies. Until the corporation, headed by Lambert, devises a shield to save the planet. This shield, known as the Shield, involves using all the energy on the planet concentrated into a laser beam, which is tied up in a satellite, whereupon the Earth is saved from the excess solar radiation. But there's a catch. It will always be night, and the temperature and humidity will both hover around 99. Flash forward 25 years, and the older Lambert goes to an opera wearing a tuxedo, which people still wear despite the heat wave and 99% humidity. Life in the big cities has grown dangerous and criminal, although people are still alive and should not complain, considering that you would think about the total blackout on Earth that might have curtailed food production since nothing can grow. And for that matter, why is everything covered with a carpet of fungus? And for that matter, why is the humidity 99%? After all, the lack of sunlight should A, end the process of cloud formation so that without rain, all the water will end up in the oceans, and the land would be a desert, and B, without warmth from the sun, a new ice age should have begun. Never mind, Earth is in the grip of an evil cartel which manages the shield, until a brave underground scientist hacks into the computers of the shield's owners and discovers, as she breathlessly reports, solar radiation above the shield is normal. She explains that the ozone layer has repaired itself. Meanwhile, Sean Connery, a creature of medieval Scotland where he first arrived from Zeist, appears in the 21st century wearing a kilt and talking in thick brogue, and gets himself suited up in modern dress before there are several sword fights. Also, some biplane involving bad guys on the planet Zeist. If there's a planet out there whose civilization is based on the worst movies of all time, Highlander 2: The Quickening deserves a sacred place among the most treasured artifacts. Film note: The quickening is the process by which people touch each other and are surrounded by special effects, making it look as if one of them is standing in a puddle and the other one was just stuck his finger into a light socket. And that was his review.
I can't tell if he likes
It's
it
a bad
or
movie.
not.
I love how he's like in the review. He's not so much critiquing the movie, but just trying to process what exactly happens in the nonsense, and it's absolutely amazing.
My God, I didn't realize that was an actual. I didn't realize that's what actually happened in that movie. Yikes!
Sometimes
Well,
you
that's
watch a
one version
movie
of
and
the
at
movie.
the
There's
end
been,
you're like,
How do you,
what?
There are so many cuts to Highlander 2: The Quickening, it's not even funny. And that's a whole topic for another day. But yeah, so he had some really good snark there. And of course, going back to the North review, which we talked a little bit about earlier, I think this is
Right.
probably
Isn't
his
someone
most famous
gonna
pull quote.
do that one?
Mike, were you going to talk about North or?
I could talk about another one. Actually, there's
I mean,
one
if
I
you
do
had
want to
one.
talk about that's different.
Okay.
This is a movie I've never seen, but I've seen enough reviewers do it, so I know it's terrible. It's Master of Disguise. And I want to read the first two paragraphs because I know this movie's infamous for it. So let me read. The Master of Disguise pants and wheezes and hurls itself exhausted across the finish line after barely 65 minutes of movie, and then follows it with 15 minutes of end credits in an attempt to clock in as a feature film. We get outtakes, deleted scenes, flubbed lines, and all other versions of the credit cookie, which was once a cute idea, but is becoming a bore. The credits go on and on. The movie is like a party guest who thinks he is funny and is wrong. The end credits are like the same guests taking too long to leave. At one point, they at last mercifully seem to be over, and the projectionist even closed the curtains, but no! There was Dana Carvey still visible against the red velvet asking us what we were still doing in the theater. That is a dangerous question to ask after a movie like Master of Disguise. And there's plenty wrong with that movie, but the end credits are infamous. That's the thing I always see people talk about with that, and I thought that was hilarious.
That is amazing.
So I mean, the whole review is great, but yeah, he's basically saying, Dana Carvey, he thinks he's a good actor, he thinks he's a good impressionist, but it's a terrible movie. But I loved what he said about the credits because it's very on point.
I mean, I will say this. I still remember. Kind of going off of Tom Green. I still remember. Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? So there's that. Take that, Roger Ebert.
Take that, Roger Ebert.
Hashtag got him.
Got him.
Oh boy. So, yeah. Anyone else have anything interesting or something they want to bring up?
There are two, mainly because the website that I used to find, some of these poll quotes, haven't had these two back to back. Ebert seems to have mentioned a couple times about or at least in his reviews mentioning if you're using this movie as a first date. The two that come to mind or that are right next to each other, I just find them fascinating, just on the polar opposites of film. For the movie Battle Los Angeles from 2011, quote, "Young men, if you attend this crap with friends who admire it, tactfully inform them they are idiots. Young women, if your date likes this movie, tell them you've been thinking it over and you think you should consider spending some time apart." And the other one was on the film Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is being marketed as a date movie. I think it's more of a first date movie. If your date likes it, do not date that person again. And if you like it, there may not be a second date.
Amazing.
I'm going to pull I'm sure we're not looking at the same website there, so I'm going to pull the North quote and I think this is very well known because I think it's become one of his most famous pull quotes with, "I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated every simpering, stupid, vacant, audience-insulting moment of it. Hated the sensibility that I thought anyone would like it. Hated implied to insult the audience by its belief that anyone would be entertained by it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And I remember seeing that
I got a
movie
question.
as a kid, and I kind of liked it at the time, but if I saw it now, I know I would hate it.
So next week's episode will be North.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Amazing.
That's what this has been leading up to.
Which one
It's
are
the background. This has been the back way in. I remember hearing about this, and please correct me if I'm wrong or if you know what the answer is, because I tried searching for this beforehand and I couldn't find it. But allegedly, there's a review out there that Ebert wrote, and the review was just the word "no." And does
I hope
anyone
it's
know?
true.
Does anyone know if that's true? Or I mean, I couldn't find it, and I don't know if I just made it up or if it was someone else or what. But
That'd be hilarious
like-
if it's true.
I'd like to know what movie that was if it is true.
Because now I want to see that movie.
It's like one word review, no. But I don't know.
I'm looking through my books index to see if there's any where there are several reviews on one page, which would seem to indicate a one-word review.
Oh.
Let's see.
No luck.
No. But he did review Newsies, so I feel like I want to read that.
Are you a fan of Newsies or not a fan of Newsies?
I mean, I was a young woman who had a VCR in 1996. So, there's something so in the infamous, that's not a word. In the infamous movie Pitch Perfect, there's this part where they say, nothing makes a woman feel like a girl than a man who sings like a boy, something like that. Anyway, so watching men whose voices had not yet dropped, sing about their passions when you're 11 is the absolute best. So let's see what he says about Newsies. Newsies is like a warmed over Horatio Alger, complete with such indispensable cliches as the newsboy on crutches, the little kid, and of course the hero's best pal who has a pretty sister. Nor does the movie lack the standard villains, including Oscar nominee Michael Lerner as the hard-hearted circulation manager. Let's see. By the way, I will just say the one thing that as an adult I now think about Newsies that I did not think about when I was 11 and interested in Christian Bale singing, was that, like, in retrospect, it's very weird that Disney made a movie about how it's good to be in unions, right?
They have to have the illusion that they're on the side of good.
Yes. Oh, but he does say he saw the movie at a Saturday morning preview attended by hundreds of children. From what I can see and hear, the kids didn't get much out of it. Although the material does indeed involve young protagonists, no effort is made to show their lives in a way that today's kids can identify with. This movie must have seemed as odd to them as a foreign film. The fact that Old Man Pulitzer once tried to screw Newsies out of a tenth of a cent must represent, for many of them, the very definition of the underwhelming. But see, I think he did not consider, were any of those children going through puberty and interested in 16-year-old boys singing? This is why we need more critics that are 11-year-old girls.
Fun fact about Newsies I just discovered right now is the guy who directed it also directed Hocus Pocus and High School Musical.
Hey, he's a true journeyman. Actually,
Or a Disney guy.
That is an amazing resume, honestly.
Nick, it's funny you mentioned Hocus Pocus, because our good friend Mr. Ebert also has some thoughts on that movie as well. Even though I think our review is far superior. Quote: Watching the movie is like attending a party you weren't invited to, and where you don't know anybody, and they're all in on the joke, but won't explain it to you.
That's actually really fair. Did we do an episode on Hocus Pocus?
We did, yeah.
I have no recollection of this at all.
It was probably, let's see. Unless it's lost in the archives, or I just
I just pulled it up. We did, and holy smokes, literally 3 years ago, like on this date.
Oh, no kidding.
Like 10 to 18. Okay, 3 years and a day on this date. 10 to 18. Wow. Okay. Sure. I guess we did this. It's funny. I just watched the movie last night. I turned the Kiwi. I'm like, we should do a podcast on Hocus Pocus. Oh, I guess we did. Yeah.
What if every 3 years you just re-review it and you're like, just had the craziest thought about this movie I just saw for the first time.
What if we review Hocus Pocus?
Every episode is just a Hocus Pocus review. Well, I don't know. Do we have any other fun things to pull about Ricky, as I call him?
Oh, there's
mainly because I was doing some cross-referencing between our reviews and his, or just for movies that I know that we at least covered. For The Last Airbender, quote, "The Last Airbender is an agonizing experience in every category I can think of, and others still waiting to be invented."
True.
You and Mike must be disappointed because that was like your favorite movie of all time. Way superior than the TV show, according to you guys.
It's a great show, Nick. Just give it a chance.
I'm sure it's a great show. I'm not criticizing the show. I'm criticizing the movie.
I
don't remember much of the movie because I was pretty drunk during it.
I had to rewatch it twice. That's dedication.
Yeah, I have no idea how you could pull that off. I was struggling with it, just watching it once. Even watching it with the riff tracks, with the guys from Mystery Science Theater doing the commentary for it, it was still a struggle to watch it.
I am as they say, I am a professional. All right, one blitzed out of my mind and one cold turkey. Just for science.
Mm. But no, he has so many great reviews. It's just if you're ever bored and you want to be cheered up, just look up Roger Ebert reviews. Look up his books. I mean, his positive reviews are good too, but let's be honest, his negative reviews are the best. Those are the ones you want to read.
The gold, Jerry.
Yeah.
It's much more entertaining to talk. You could talk and be much more entertained about something that's bad than if everyone loves everything. Like, this movie was great. I liked it too.
Well,
Okay,
I think even one of the joys I think in reading movie criticism of good movies can really be if they make you think about, because it's one thing to watch a movie and like a movie. It's another thing to watch a movie and be able to explain why it works well. And I think that's something that not everyone has that capacity. So.
And that was definitely one of Ebert's many strengths, is that, because it is easy to say, well, I liked it or I didn't like it, but if you can it's giving words to those sort of general thoughts I think everybody has. It's like, but it's like, that was good, or just like, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
I was saying, do we have any Stargate fans in the house here tonight?
I do.
Apparently,
I mean, I like the movie, but the series is like significantly better.
The movie,
I know.
according to Mr. Ebert, The movie Ed Wood, about the worst director of all time, was made to prepare us for Stargate.
I didn't think it was that bad, but okay.
I forgot that Kurt Russell and I saw Kurt Russell and James Spader are both in that movie.
They are.
Yeah.
So.
Apparently,
All
shows
right.
are better.
I think we kind of exhausted our topic here. At least we kind of went over some of our favorite pull quotes. Ebert definitely had a lot of fun ones. I'm sure a lot of reviewers do, but I mean, Jenny just said Ebert's kind of been a little bit more fun probably for us because he was local, also well known, and it's just kind of like I know I like seeing more local people who kind of make it big, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Chicago pride.
And
we're better than New York.
Hell yeah.
Take that.
And of
Take
course,
that,
please
New York.
edit that part out for the New York markets. Just put in another.
Right, I'm putting like we're
New York's
is
great.
us.
We'll fix it in post.
Like we love this city. So, well, this has been our 200th episode, and this is going to get released. My goal is to release it on Tuesday, October 5th, which will also be the 6th anniversary of this particular show, when Gorehound and I did our first review with on Jurassic World way back in October 5th, 15. Yes. Is my maths right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that'd be kind of fun. I'm surprised we went up to 200 episodes so far, that we didn't quit this early on out of disinterest, but it just keeps going. It's been fun to do. I know no one listens to this, like, except arguably my mother-in-law, but I think even she said to me this weekend, like, I haven't listened to it in a while, so thanks. But I know we do get a steady stream of downloads, so I don't know who's listening to this, but someone is.
Hey, there's gotta be
tweet
something like
us.
Truckers driving through the country late at night, going, hey, I need to listen to the all new Culture Cast at 3 a.m. That's
Keep
us.
them from falling asleep. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Or we'll put them to fall asleep, So I mean, we just posted our UHF episode earlier this week, and it's been downloaded a handful of times already. Which, okay, someone wants to listen to it, so we'll see where that goes. I will say this, just for some interesting stats. Our number one episode still was on Dirty John, with 2,793 downloads. I'm convinced they confused it with the actual Dirty John podcast. But the second one after that is Riverdale season 1 with 768 downloads, and then surprisingly in number 3 with 256 is the one we did a couple years ago about women and minority representation in Hollywood.
Nice.
I'm happy but surprised that one had such an interest. But oddly enough, the one after that is Jaws 4: The Revenge. So with nearly the same amount of downloads. So I don't know what happened there, but whatever. So we got someone's listening. So smash that like button, people. We're not on YouTube, so they can't do that. But I guess we'll wrap it up here. So I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said if they can't smash the like button, they can smash a vase.
I thought you said masturbate at first, and I'm like,
oh wow,
what?
Why would I say that?
That's what I'm wondering too.
Hey,
Smash
we
a
can't
vase.
disparage our audience
Can
like
do
that.
I guess.
Sweaty Neckbeard is what keeps the lights on here.
Wait, I thought is Roger Ebert dead?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then
Done
how
like
did he review
2004.
Midnight Mass?
he has a website, and other people contribute to his website. He's now
Yeah.
like a brand.
That's so dumb.
I don't think it's supposed to be that fucking loose.
Run by his wife. Widow.
Oh, what the
Widow.
fuck?
My
But I
opinions.
think he
My
also
opinion
cited the
stands.
idea of the thumbs, correct? Like you can't. Does he not allow them to do the thumb up, thumbs down anymore? I feel like
think
that was
so.
a thing.
At least on when they were trying to do the show, maybe
Yeah.
with other
Wasn't
critics.
that like copyrighted by like someone or
Yeah.
something?
Like when they were doing when they tried to continue at the movies.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Mhm. Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear
Hello?
us?
You don't even have any headphones in.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
we hear you.
I can hear you.
Trying to. My fucking these things were working earlier, and now they're not, and I don't know why. Hey, can someone tell me if they can hear me?
Antifa.
Like,
We can hear you.
Yes.
fuck.
This is gonna be
I'm
a
so
fun
glad
one
I'm
tonight,
recording
folks.
all of this.
Why are you not working?
Nick, good to hear you have electricity back in the house. Sorry.
Literally,
to
I had it set up
debacle.
before. It was working fine. I walk away, and all of a sudden, everything stops.
Blame it on Skype.
Blame it on the
Probably
rain.
not far from the
I was
truth.
gonna say blame it on the rain.
There you go.
Ah. It's that time again. Time for the all-new Culture Cast, which begins right now. Welcome back, everyone, to the all-new Culture Cast. And tonight we have our 200th episode.
Woo!